lead us from the unreal to the real, lead us from darkness to light, lead us from death to immortality. Peace, peace, peace.
We have assembled here today for a very special event. We have ahead of us a 2-day retreat with the very eminent and very distinguished monk of Ramakrishna order, Swami Sarvapriyananda, minister and spiritual leader of Vedanta Society, New York. We are indeed blessed to have Swamiji amidst us. We offer our warmest greetings and pranams to you, Swamiji. As we say it here in Irish, David, you have to pardon my accent here now. Cave me la falcha, 100,000 welcomes. We are very eagerly looking forward to the 2 days ahead of us for this Vedanta retreat. Over the 2 days, there will be 4 sessions that are of an hour-long duration, followed by a Q&A session. The programs have been posted around as well, so you can all have a look at for the next ones. And the 4-day session, the 4 sessions will cover different aspects of Vedanta.
We extend our heartiest welcome to all the dignitaries who have made their time and effort to come and join us today. And also we welcome the distinguished audience and who have joined here for the inaugural session. We are going to start our inaugural program with an opening song by Juma.
Few stanzas from this poem, Song of the Sannyasi, and it was composed by Swami Vivekananda in 1895. During one of his retreats, the longest kind of retreats, on the Thousand Island Park in New York. So, with salutations to the Holy Trio, Thakur Shamiji, Sister Nivedita, pranams to Revd Swami Sarvapriyananda, Swami Shantivratananda, honorable guests, and esteemed members of the audience. I begin. Thank you. Wake up, the Lord, Sannyasi Bo, say. All hopes and fears thus day by day, till karma's power spent, release the soul forever. No more is bound, nor I, nor thou, nor God, nor man, the I has all become. The all is I and bliss. Know thou art that sannyasin gold. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Together everybody. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Say Om Tat Sat Om. Say Om Tat Sat Om.
Thank you, Juma, for setting the perfect ambience with your beautiful rendering. We would now like to invite our Minister in Charge, Swami Shantivratananda ji, to invite and welcome our august company and invited speakers to the stage.
स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. I shall bow down to Sri Ramakrishna, who is the embodiment of all the world religions, who descended on this earth to establish the dharma, and who is the best among the incarnations. Oh, peace, peace, peace. Dear blessed spiritual aspirants, it is a wonderful day for all of us, today and tomorrow. We'll be going or we'll be sailing on intellectual pilgrimage or spiritual pilgrimage for 2 days, which makes me to remember one story, a beautiful story. Of course, just for Ireland's sake, I'm changing the names. The names goes like this: John and Peter. John and Peter were, just to take care of their livelihood, they were begging. And John was carrying all the way a small box. He might leave his food, he might leave his whatever the meager possessions, but he never left that small box. And both were good friends. And one fine day, Peter asked John, "Dear John, if you don't mind, can I ask you a question?" John said, "Well, go ahead." Peter said, "It is your personal question, maybe you should not feel annoyed." John said, "Yes, why not? Please go ahead." And Peter asked, "From a decade more or less I am seeing you, you are carrying a small tiny box. What it contains, I am really interested and inquisitive about it. Can you tell about it?" John said, "Oh my dear, it has got its own legacy or history." Okay, fair enough. What is it about? He said, "I don't know, I never opened it." It has got a legacy, it has got a history. You were saying and you are not open. What does it mean? "Oh, Peter, John, my father gave me and he said this is our possession. So you just have to take care of it." And he never opened, he never saw what it is. So very religiously, very traditionally, I'm holding this box and I'm just the custodian of this. "Then did your father open it?" He said, "No. Even I don't think my grandfather, great-grandfather opened. At least it came from my great-grandfather, I know the history, but I think 3 generations, we never opened the box." And Peter said, "Yes, that's beautiful. Why don't we open it?" "Oh, it can be a blasphemy." Then Peter was a bit rational enough. He said, "I don't think, definitely we will pray for Jesus and we'll open it." And he did open, and interestingly in the box, there were 6 or 7 diamonds. For 3 successive generations, they were holding the box without opening, where they had very valuable, costly diamonds. And having the diamonds with them for 3 generations, they were taking care of their life without begging. This is one of the stories. The whole philosophy goes this: we are all divine beings. The Advaita Vedanta, the non-dualistic school of philosophy, the ancient philosophy, which comes from India, no doubt, it tells about that we are all divine. The divine is the science of infinite possibilities, which has the positivity, strength, vigor, what all we can name them. It is there in us, but we feel that I'm not very strong. I'm not physically strong, or mentally strong, or emotionally strong, or I'm weak, I'm sinner, etc. Though I've got diamonds with me, but I'm thinking I'm a beggar and I'm suffering. So the Vedanta asks us, oh my dear, please don't be busy in changing the world. We are always. There's a beautiful prayer from a Jew that, oh God, I was intelligent and I was trying to change the world. Oh God, I was intelligent, I was trying to change the world. Oh God, now I am wise, I am trying to change myself. Oh God, I am wise, I am trying to change myself. So, we always expect the change outside, with outside situations, people and etc. and we keep on suffering. The change has to start from within. From there, for that, we have to start our journey. For that, Vedanta gives, the Advaita Vedanta, the non-dualistic philosophy, gives one of the best platform for us to start. In one of the, recently, in a car I was giving a talk in the car, a few months before. One of the youngsters was asking, Swami, can you tell me, in the essence of the Advaita Vedanta, in just a line, because I don't have time to read a big books, which is a common problem for all of us. I said, yes. What is that? What Advaita teaches you? What Advaita makes you? I said, you will be traveling from what to so what. What to so what. So why we have to study Advaita Vedanta? Why you have to attend Vedanta retreat for 2 days? And what can be the change you can expect? Or in what lines we can build up yourself to build the change, or to probably build up your attitude or mindset. You will be traveling from what to so what. That's what retreat. Retreat. You have come from the home in a particular path, and again if you take the same path, of course there can be one ways and all, but otherwise if you go back, use the same path, you'll go back to your home. So our home is what devotional scriptures, they call it as God, some call it as divine, some call it as Atman or Brahman or different names. That is the source of strength, that is the source of consciousness, that is the source of creation. From where we have come away and we feel that we are suffering. So thinking has to be proper, and our thinking has to be set proper. For that, Advaita Vedanta is one of the best tools, or it can be a very rational and philosophical tool. In this 2 days journey, you will be introduced into the Advaita Vedantic tool. You will be traveling from what to so what with the different things. As you know, Ramakrishna Vedanta Center, or Air Vedanta Society NEEP, is a branch of Ramakrishna Mutt, headquartered in India. So the Ramakrishna Vedanta Center is a branch of this Ramakrishna Mutt worldwide organization, which is headquartered in India. And our main objective is to spread the Vedanta philosophy across the globe, as taught and practiced by our ancient sages and as well as holy trio we call Sri Ramakrishna, Sharda Devi, Vivekananda, and also a great and dear lady, Irish lady, Sister Nivedita or Margaret Noble. In India she has done enormous work, and we have got universities in the name of her, and we have got different streets and reputed institutions has been named after her, about Sister Nivedita, and she is being an Irish lady, but unfortunately in Ireland we don't know about her. Irish people don't know much about it for its own reasons. So our Ramakrishna Vedanta Center is established to spread Vedanta philosophy and also to spread the awareness and the life and teachings of Sister Nivedita. You are all welcome to visit us. We are in Dublin 15 near Blanchardstown, and apart from that we have got a website some of you might know, rkmireland.org. You can visit our website and you can know all our activities, and you are welcome. And we have got a distinguished guest, Revd Steve. Revd Steve has been appointed as the priest in charge of the parish of Dunleary in the Diocese of Dublin, and he has been also Dean of Residency at Trinity College Dublin for the past 8 years. He is a good friend of me. He studied theology in Dallas, Texas, and he tried for the ordained ministry in the Church of England in Cambridge, and has already covered a range of interesting areas, including curacy in St. Peter's and Counselor Royal Hello University, and so on and so forth. So, reverentially, on behalf of the assembled devotees and myself, I welcome Revd Steven for this August assembly. Again, one of my friend, again dear friend, Rutger. Rutger, how we know? I think recently also he visited our center and he was also giving his experience or his Vedantic journey's experience in a nutshell. And otherwise, he head the school, John Scott School, where they teach Sanskrit, and the children of the school every day, every year, more or less in the March, we will have the birthday celebrations of Sri Ramakrishna, our master. There, the John Scott School children, they come and they sing prayers or hymns in the Sanskrit. That's how the ashrama people and ourselves, we know him. Rutger is a teacher of Sanskrit in John Scottus Senior School in Dublin, Ireland. And John Scottus School is a private school which has been teaching Sanskrit as a compulsory subject since its inception in 1986. Rutger became interested in the Advaita Vedanta philosophy when he was just 21 years old, while he was studying at Trinity College, Dublin. He was initiated to the world of Advaita Vedanta by reading the 10 Principal Upanishads, an English translation of the 10 Principal Upanishads by the Irish poet W.B. Yeats, published in 1938. He stayed as a guest of Dr. Ramchandra Bhatt in Veda Vijnana Gurukula, that is the old Sanskrit style of Indian education system, or education institutions in Bangalore, southern part of India, in the year 2006 and 7. Subsequently, he spent the period from 2008 onwards in the Gurukula to learn Sanskrit, to learn Vedanta, and also to teach Sanskrit to the Western world. Since 2016, Rutger is running a junior certificate course on well-being targeted at 12-15 years old children. And the course is based on the principles of Ayurveda, an alternative medicine system developed in the Indian subcontinent and of yoga. In the year 2020, Rutger was awarded the World Sanskrit Prize by the Indian Council for Cultural Relationships. And in 2022, the Government of India honored him with the Padma Shri Award for his dedicated work to propagate the Sanskrit language in Ireland. So again, with due respect, on the behalf of assembled audience and personally, I welcome Rutger for this August assembly. And we have got the Buddhist monk. Myozan is a Zen Buddhist priest and is in the lineage of Rampo Niva. He is based in Dublin, Ireland. He leads the Zen Buddhism Ireland Sangha, where he is the founding teacher. In 2016, he completed the Dharma Heritage Ceremony at the SZBA conference at Minnesota. Sorry for wrong pronunciation. He is the founding president of the Irish Buddhist Union and represents Buddhism on the Dublin City Interfaith Forum, that is DCIF. Again, on the behalf of the assembled devotees, personally, I welcome him reverentially for this August assembly. And our chief speaker for all the 4 sessions. He was also a teacher, Acharya for me during my training center days in India, Revd Swami Sarvapriyananda. Sarvapriyananda has been the ministry in charge and the spiritual leader of the Vedanta Society of New York since January 2017. He joined the Ramakrishna Mutt in Devgarh in 1994 and he received monastic vows in 2004 by the world-renowned monk Swami Shantivratananda. He served as an Acharya teacher of the Monastic Probationers Training Center at Belur Math, West Bengal, India. He also served in various capacities in different education institutes of the Ramakrishna Mission in India, and he was also the assistant minister of the Vedanta Society of Southern California. During 2019-2020, he was the fellow at the Harvard Divinity School. Swamiji is a well-known speaker on Vedanta, and his talks are extremely popular globally via the internet, and whoever visits or follow the YouTube, you can see all 100,000, minimum 100,000 views will be there on his every lecture. He has been a speaker on the various prestigious forums such as TEDx, Google Talk, etc. He has been invited to speak at several universities across the globe, including Harvard University. Swamiji is engaged in dialogue with many eminent thinkers such as Deepak Chopra, then Revd David Kalnos, Sam Harris, etc. He has played a prominent role in organizing and participating in various interfaith panels and seminars, including speaking at the World Parliament of Religions in Toronto in 2018 and at the United Nations headquarters in New York. Some of his popular talks are compiled into ebooks such as Who Am I? What is Vedanta? Dissolve into Infinity are currently available on Amazon Kindle. Interested people can download from that. On the behalf of assembled delegates and personally, reverentially, I welcome Swamiji for this August session. And Professor Siddhartha Sen is the chairman of the board of directors Ramakrishna Vedanta Center. And apart from that, is a retired professor from the Trinity College. And if you see him, if you see his work, no one can imagine or no one will feel that he's a birthday boy, of course. He's today's birthday boy, and today he is just and he's turning 84 today. He's turning 84, you can imagine. And he's always, even today, is busy in research. He will be learning new things, and as interdisciplinary systems, he goes to the Trinity and other universities. He works with the different professors and he guides students, he guides PhD candidates and all. And apart from that, he reads a lot himself, and he does contribute to the research and all. So why I'm telling, many times we feel 40 plus, 50 plus, we are becoming old, or I am old, sometimes we feel. So when we see him at 84, definitely we should feel that we are just maybe very young or adolescent during his age. So I always admire his learning capacities and potentialities in working, and he's very methodical in working. And any mails you send, sometimes even our own director, sometimes they take 2-3 days, and he in no time he replies back and etc. So it's a great lesson for me, at least personally, with him working. So on behalf of all of you and personally, I welcome him for this August session. And some of you might know, we had a talk in the Trinity on the Thursday evening by Swami Sarvapriyananda. And from this year onwards, this was the inaugural lecture on our dear lady, Margaret Noble, Irish lady, that Sister Nivedita from here. So we have got a memorandum with the Trinity College for 10 years, so that annually we have a talks on Sister Nivedita, so that to spread the awareness among the Irish public. Further, he was an instrumental in getting the memorandum with the Trinity College, and also he sponsored the event. So I would like to remember this at this time. And directors of our Ramakrishna Vedanta Center board, there are directors and special delegates, invitees, devotees, volunteers. I invite all of you wholeheartedly for this intellectual and spiritual journey for this Vedanta retreat. Thank you. Oh, peace, peace, peace.
We would now like to invite Revd Steven Brunn to say a few words to us.
First of all, a really big thank you for being invited, not only to be with you today, but to say a few words. And I do not claim in any way to be an expert on the Vedanta, but one of the things in my life and ministry, especially because I work in India every year during the summer, is so many people trying to find difference between religions and traditions. And it's much harder, but it's much easier to find the likeness that we have together, the commonality that we have, and it's much more rewarding, I find, to have the commonality. So what I want to do is just throw a few points out there of commonality between the Vedanta philosophy and Christianity. Of course, these arise from different cultural and religious contexts, but emphasize certain universal spiritual truths. The first one is unity with the divine. The Vedanta, a core teaching, especially in Advaita Vedanta tradition, is that Atman, the individual soul, and Brahman, the ultimate reality of God, are ultimately one. And the realization of this unity leads to liberation, or moksha. Christianity teaches that believers can have personal relationship with God through Christ, and through faith one can be united with God. While Christianity generally emphasizes the distinction between creator and creation, there is still a notion of a deep connection with the divine through love, grace, and salvation. The concept of the soul would be my second point. According to Vedanta, the true self is not the body or the mind, but the Atman, which is eternal, divine, and beyond ego. And realizing this leads to spiritual freedom. Christianity teaches that humans are created in God's image, and each person has an eternal soul. The goal is to align one's life with God's will, and ultimately be reunited with Him in the afterlife. Another point is the role of love and compassion. Vedantic teaching emphasizes compassion, karuna, unselfless love, especially in the Bhakti Vedanta, where love for God is central to spiritual practice. The idea is to transcend individual ego and serve each other with love. Christianity places immense importance on love, particularly for love for God and love for others in Jesus' great commandment. Jesus teaches that love is the greatest commandment. The next one is the search for truth and liberation. The ultimate goal in Vedanta is to realize one's identity with Brahman, which is considered the ultimate truth, and to be liberated from the cycle of birth and rebirth, samsara. In Christianity, the goal is salvation through faith in Christ, which is seen as a path to eternal life with God. The truth is understood as Christ Himself. The next point is grace and devotion. In Vedanta, devotion to God, often seen as personal deity like Krishna, and surrender to divine will is a means to attain liberation. The concept of grace or kripa is also important, where God's help the devotee transcend ego and realize their divine nature. Christianity strongly emphasizes grace, particularly God's unearned and unconditional love, and salvation is seen as gift. I'm coming to the end. 6, the mystical experience. Vedanta recognizes the possible of direct mystical experience of the divine, especially through meditation and self-inquiry, maybe yoga, where one comes to realize the true nature of self. Christian mysticism also emphasizes personal experience with God through prayer, contemplation, and communion. Saints and the mystics like St. Teresa of Avila or St. John of the Cross describe profound experiences of divine union. The nature of suffering and how to overcome it. In Vedanta, suffering, dukkha, is caused by ignorance of the true self and attachment to the material world. The path to overcoming is through knowledge, detachment, and realization of our self-unity with Brahman. Christianity acknowledges suffering in the world, but offers hope of redemption through Christ. The path to overcoming suffering is through prayer, faith, and ultimately the hope of eternal life. My last one. No, sorry, that was the last one. Despite these common themes, there of course is differences, but that doesn't matter. Overall, there's so much more in line with each other. Overall, while Vedanta and Christianity have some shared values, they have the importance of love and unity with the divine and spiritual liberation. Their metaphysical and theological frameworks are distinct. Nevertheless, both traditions explore profound truths about the nature of the self, the divine, and the path to spiritual realization. Thank you for listening to me.
you, Reverend Brunn, for wonderfully, in a short time, explaining the similarity and the common themes with 6 succinct points that really touched our heart, the commonality between Christianity and the Vedanta and the Hinduism. So we once more express our warm regards and gratitude for this wonderful talk. We now invite our next guest speaker, Myozan Kodo. He is from the Buddhist tradition, and we invite him to say a few words to us.
Hello everybody, can you hear me okay? Thank you.
I thought it was going to be last, so I thought I could relax for another few minutes. It's not going to happen. I'd like to thank you very warmly for this invitation today. It's great to be with you here in the Revd Vedanta Society. Looking down at the Irish flag in the background, I can't help think that the orange is the orange of Vedanta. They're very similar to the robes of our Swami here today. So I come from a Zen Buddhist tradition, and in my years practicing Zen Buddhism, I keep finding myself in the rich, deep ocean of Indian culture and Vedanta. And I keep finding the nourishment and riches of this ancient tradition shining with great luminosity through my own Buddhist tradition. Zen Buddhism is a unique expression, I think, of the Dharma. Every being is a unique expression of the divine, but Zen Buddhism is a very unique expression of the Dharma. It values the present moment. It sees eternity and all things revealing themselves in this very moment, and understands that at any given moment our liberation is present, or our potential liberation is present. This is the divine within us. And it was very interesting to hear the Swami earlier on telling the story about the man with the, John as he called him, with the little box with jewels inside. And straight away I have that, essentially that same teaching from the Lotus Sutra, the Lotus Sutra of the Wondrous Dharma, where a young man is going off travelling, and they have a big night out with his friends, and one of his friends sews a jewel into his clothing, so that when he needs resources in his long journey, he'll find this jewel. But he never finds the jewel, and travels and experiences great hardships and great poverty. It's the same story. It's really the same story. And then he returns and meets his friend again after many years and said, oh, they sat down, he said, these are all the adventures I had, these are the great journeys I did, but I went through some very tough times. And he said, did you not check the lining of your cloak? In there was a jewel. So this is the teaching, that we have this great precious treasure with us always. And it's so lovely to see those resonances and those intersections between my expression of the Dharma and the Vedanta. And you know, many people who come to our centre have a great affinity with the Vedanta teachings. Many have practiced, and many see a lot of parallels between the Zen Buddhist path. Zen is a path that, of course, comes out of Indian culture. Buddhism comes out of India 2,500 years ago, and has that cosmology, has that understanding of reality that comes from those deep roots, and finds it flowering, in my case, in the Japanese school of Zen Buddhism, the Soto school, which I represent. But some of the important things for Zen Buddhism, one of the central things is non-duality. And this is, of course, a central Vedanta understanding, not even an understanding, a reality. And in our practice of seated meditation, Zazen as we call it, Zazen, sitting meditation, we enter a deep, deep silence, which is a direct experience of non-duality. So, Master Doga, the founder of our school, says to study. One of the things he says in the Shobogenzo, his master work from the 13th century, is to study the Buddha way is to study the self, number one. And then he moves on. To study the Buddha way is to forget the self. And the teachings unfold from there. But you see that this self and this other is an illusion, is an absolute illusion, that the other is the self and the self is the other. And in this beautiful unified reality, we are not cut off from the divine, we are intimate at all times with the divine. And I think this is the great gift in many ways of Vedanta to the Zen tradition. And one of the ways that we express this in Zen is through silence, through the depths of silence, through the peaceful residing and abiding within silence. There are many examples within the Buddhist tradition where silence is the great teacher. Ironic that I should continue to talk, but I won't go on for much longer. And I should soon take my own counsel and revert to silence. The Buddha was asked one day to preach to the Sangha, and so there was a platform from which teachings were sometimes given. The Buddha ascended to the platform, and then he descended to the platform. And Mahakashapa said, "Thank you for this teaching, it's a well-honoured one." So in that tradition, I think I should revert to silence. Thank you.
Thank you, Reverend Kilroy. It was wonderful to listen to you and to see the commonality again with the Buddhist tradition that resonates so well with the Vedanta tradition, and how you said the direct experience of non-duality is also the central theme of your tradition. It was really wonderful to know. Thank you again, and we express our warmest regards to you. So our next speaker is Mr. Rutger Kortenhorst. So may I kindly ask you to address the audience.
Om Shri Guru Pyo Namaha Harihi Om. Shantivratananda asked me to speak to you about the state of Sanskrit in Ireland and Vedanta in Ireland. So, and he gave me 5 minutes. So, luckily, some of the people who have started this journey are, for example, William Butler Yeats, by translating the 10 principal Upanishads and giving them in an English form, which is very poetical and which is very, it really touches you when you're reading it. So that was work done more than a century ago. And then we have Nivedita Bahini, as was mentioned, and again, she's not known well enough in Ireland, but she's well known in India. And so it's good that this work is going on, that people are trying to give her story back to Ireland, because people here in Ireland should know about her. So they are really big, we're standing on the shoulders of giants when we think of those people who went before us and who made this connection. Now it's much easier for us to study all these wonderful, wise texts because we have them in these languages. And for those who don't know Sanskrit, obviously English is very helpful. And then the Ramakrishna tradition themselves, they have been translating all these Upanishads. And without them, if you really want to study a bit more in detail, you need to study those books. And with the commentaries of Adi Shankara, so it just gives a deep meaning to these Upanishads. they've always stirred me very deeply. From the age of 20, when I read the Upanishads, the first time the Taittiriya Upanishad, I was very moved by that text, and it was just in English, not even in Sanskrit. And so it is very powerful. The words of the wise are very, very powerful, and it is our strength. It makes it grow. So in Ireland, what we have done about it is, since that time, we've, apart from the, I would say the School of Philosophy and Economic Science has had a huge impact in Ireland. So many people are going to practical philosophy courses, and they don't call them Vedanta courses, but they are. And then there is a lot of study going on in Sanskrit through the School of Philosophy. I think at least since 1968, I think in Ireland, about 40 or 50,000 people have gone to courses, and their lives have been improved by that, there's no doubt. So that's a very good influence. And then from our two teachers, Sri Shantivratananda Saraswati, who is the Shankaracharya from North India, who was until the 1996, I think, when he died, and then Sri Vasudevananda Saraswati took over, and again he's giving guidance to the School of Philosophy. So those teachers have always told us we should study Sanskrit and we should meditate. They're the key things that the School of Philosophy, and then obviously it's done through service and all the other practices. So that's one very powerful stream that is coming into Ireland. And then of course the Hindu community here has grown over the years. Often people come here for Lakshmi because they are coming here for the euros, but they actually stay for Saraswati. So the goddess of wisdom. So and that's community. I'm in touch with them quite a bit, and they have a wonderful temple in VHCCI. Have now got their own temple after many years. And then there are so many other organizations. When you take, for example, all the yoga that's going on in the world, it's often a bit limited the way it's being, like it feels a bit like just gymnastics, but I'm sure it's much bigger than that. And so at least it gives people a chance to enter into this field. So very often I end up in a yoga club talking about Sanskrit, and so obviously it's a connection. So even if people start there, simply with some asanas, well, that's a start at least. So then of course we have John Scottish School. We have two John Scottish schools now, primary schools teaching Sanskrit, one in the city centre and one outside in Shankill. So there are about 200 students altogether, if you add them up, learning Sanskrit, and every day of their lives they're learning some Sanskrit, which is wonderful. And so that's helping the growth of Sanskrit. And then of course there are many adults who are studying Sanskrit in the School of Philosophy, and they're worldwide of course, but in Ireland that's again a significant thing. We usually have teachers from India, acharyas. Nowadays we're on Zoom quite a bit. So at Easter we have a conference, a 4-day conference, and we've got, we usually study a part of an Upanishad, and they help us with the grammar, they help us with the meaning, and we do some chanting. And so all these things are helping Vedanta to be more established in our community. And I think it's wonderful to see that happening. So the more, the better, I would say. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Kortenhorst. It is always very inspiring to note that the ultimate truth finds its expression in so many wonderful ways through so many worthy channels, and it is always inspiring to note that and makes us feel united. So with this, I will pass on to Rai, and she will say a few words about our center and activities before we would invite Professor Sen to convey the vote of thanks for the inaugural session.
As Swami Shantivratananda mentioned earlier on, our Ramakrishna Vedanta Center here in Dublin, we are a branch center of Perul Mutt here for the past 6 years, affiliated here for the past 6 years, and we have a lot of events that on an annual basis we celebrate our birthday celebrations for the Holy Friar, Sister Vedanta, and apart from that we have many other programs that we have weekly, every Sunday we have Vesper services, and everybody is more than welcome to join us in the ashram for the Vesper services. All the details are there on our website, which I will just repeat, www.arcanireland.org. Apart from that, we have children's classes, Bhagavad Sanskrit classes that are organized. We have other retreats, meditation sessions, classes going on. So in a nutshell, a lot of programs that we have throughout the year, weekly talks that are given by Swamiji, and the ashram is open. Swamijis are available there for any counseling, so definitely would want to welcome all to avail of this opportunity and visit our ashram. And as we draw close to the end of our inaugural program, we'd like to now invite Professor Siddhartha Sen, our chairman for the board of directors. Please give a few words of thanks and a few concluding remarks.
So it's my pleasure to thank the speakers here. I am by training a scientist, and in science, as progress is made, people begin to see that things which were different have some profound inner similarity. And this unity of our experiences continues to develop. Now, what we heard from our speakers today is a process in which, in the world of spirituality, one begins to see that there could be underlying threads of unity. And as one begins to understand these threads of unity, then distrust and separateness present might slowly start diminishing. And this is the wish of all people of good faith. Now, I would like to tell you a little episode which happened in 1908 in Dublin. And this has to do, it brings together three things. One, underlying idea of Vedanta. Second, Margaret Noble. And third, a very famous Indian scientist called Jagadish Chandra Bose. So some of you may not know about Jagadish Chandra Bose, but he was a pioneer in radio. I mean, most people feel that he, before Marconi, came up with the idea of a radio, and he had a strong belief that you should not patent anything. He felt that anything discovered belongs to nature. When he discovered this radio transmission, he did it in microwaves. He had no interest in patenting, but Vivekananda felt very strongly that he should patent the thing, and persuaded Margaret Noble to persuade Jagadish Chandra Bose to start a process of patenting. That needs money. And there was a benefactor of Ramakrishna Mission, Sarah Bull. She was willing to put up the money. The patent application was filled by Nivedita, and as a result, now everyone knows that the space microwave system is basically the design of Jagadish Chandra Bose. But I will come now talking about 1908. In 1908, there was a meeting of the British Association of Science in Trinity College, Dublin. These were huge events, and they were tremendously exciting events for the public. There was a grand party given by the provost, and there were all kinds of events organized. A special boat from England, which was free, to brought people over. It was a big event. And in this event, Jagadish Chandra Bose was the speaker, and Sister Nivedita was also at that time in Dublin. When he made a presentation, he always had a lecture demonstration, something dramatic. So in this lecture demonstration, usually Nivedita played a role in setting things up. And what he did there was a lecture on the electrical conductivity of plants. Does not sound very exciting. But it turns out he was guided by the idea of Vedanta, that there is underlying unity in all existence. And he knew that Galvani had found that a frog's leg had electrical things. So he said, if there's unity, there should be something similar in plants. And he devised very, very beautiful, accurate measuring devices. And he made a measurement, and it is a thing called the action potential. And he actually measured the action potential of a plant. Before in the rest of the world, 1920s onwards, people did this in human beings. Galvani had found one spike, but Jagadish Chandra Bose had done this in 1908, and it was an event which is not well recognized, but nowadays, he had great difficulty publishing because people didn't believe him, but nowadays, in the last 10 years, it is well established that this was absolutely correct, and a new subject called neurobotany has blossomed. And one of the starting things was in Dublin in 1908. So there you are. So some of these ideas are not just theoretical ideas, but if you internalize them and think about them, it really leads to insights. And I would hope that all of you here present, just don't absorb, but spread. That's the thing. Thank you very much.